I was arrested for drinking a tab. Did you know that? Yes, in high school, I was arrested for drinking a tab. Now, tab is a Diet Cola. It was like 70s or it had to be 80s because that's when I was in high school. It's a Diet Cola that I lived on for 4 years. In high school, for the 4 years of high school, I did not eat. I literally lived on tab. Now, we didn't have soda in our lunchroom. So there was a fast food restaurant down the street. I would go across the street from my school and get a large tab from it was called Geno's, and I would drink it there. That was my lunch. Go back to school. And well, you weren't allowed to leave school grounds. If you left school grounds, you were considered truant. Well, we were sitting in there. We see these police paddy wagons pull up and around surrounding the place. Well, what is that? Is there an active shooter in here? What is happening? Well, it turns out that we were not allowed there. We were considered truant if you were not on the school grounds. And so they arrested everyone that was there from the school. Now, a lot of people left because they asked them, where are you going? And, you're high schoolers. They don't know who's in school, who's not. They're like, going back to work. Oh, go ahead. Lie. Mr. Margas here telling the truth. Where are you going? I'm going back to school. I came here for my tab that I need for nourishment. No, go sit in there. So I had to go sit into the main dining room, and they loaded all of us students up into the paddy wagon to take us downtown now to the police station to book us. Meanwhile, I was, are you kidding me? Now, I was not like a bad kid. I steered clear of what we called back then the burnouts. They were the people that were like smoking on the stoops. We'll talk about smoking later. I ended up smoking later in life. But then, I didn't smoke. I didn't smoke pot. I didn't do drugs. I didn't drink. I just was like, what? That's crazy. All I want is a tab. You're going to arrest me for a tab? Well, I also was a fashionista. So I was wearing a paper jacket. Now, back in the 80s, paper jackets were the thing. It was literally a windbreaker, but made of paper. And it just was so cool. Everyone, we're going to do high school tales. We should do that. Everybody was just like, what is that? And it was a Ferrari logo. It was a paper jacket, Ferrari logo. And the red with the yellow and the black Ferrari on the back, zipped up. I had on Britannia jeans. They were the jeans of the time. And the shoes were called shit kickers. They were like this beige nubuck material that laced up with these bright yellow laces into an ankle boot with a little chunky heel. Honey, she was giving you life, okay? And we were waiting in the dining room to be taken downtown and booked, basically. And all the bad kids from the school were there crying. There was one bad kid, his name was Dago. Everybody feared Dago because he was tough. He would kick your ass. He was the one that called me faggot over and over again. Why? Because I was wearing a paper jacket, a Ferrari jacket? Why? Because I had a big comb in my back pocket to comb the feathers of my hair? Dago, where are you now? But anyhow, Dago was crying. Dago was in there crying, and I'm thinking, they can't possibly arrest us for eating lunch. I mean, there are rapists on the street, there are burglars, murderers, and they're gonna waste their time to take us and book us downtown for what? Drinking a tab? This is insanity. So all the bad kids started to hover around me thinking, this Teddy's going to be our savior. He's got the mouth. Well, honey, I did. And when the cops were in there and Dago's crying, going, my father's going to kill me, man. They're going to take us down and put us in the sweatbox, man. I cannot be another day in the sweatbox. My father said one more day in the sweatbox and I'm out of the house. And I'm like, what are you talking about, sweatbox? And I thought, I cannot go into a sweatbox with this paper jacket. It'll rip. Excuse me, officer. Is there a sweat box involved here? Because this is a paper jacket. It's very expensive, and I'm not going into a sweat box. It'll rip. It'll shred. Well, apparently, sweat box. Hi, Diana. Sweat box is a term for the clink, the cell, jail, any hooch. So they haul us all in the back of this paddy wagon, handcuffed behind us, downtown to the roundhouse, is what they called it in Philly, and that was into the hole. The roundhouse in Philly, where they loaded us up into 2 cells. First of all, the boys and girls were separated. All the girls went in one paddy wagon, all the boys went in another paddy wagon. And then they went and they processed the girls first, and then they processed the boys. So ladies first when it comes to being arrested. Teddy in prison, live on Broadway. So they take us down. And now meanwhile, I am complaining the entire way as the cop is putting me into the back of the paddy wagon. These guys who skip school, fail, dropouts, failures, drugs, they do it all. They're like crying that they're in trouble. And I'm literally like, are you insane? Are you insane? You're going to put me in the back of that dirty paddy wagon? I'm wearing Britannia jeans. There are murderers on the street. Wait, what is happening here? This can't possibly be real. You are not going to take me all the way downtown for drinking a tab. And they were like, ooh, we got a hot one on our hands here. So I get into the paddy wagon. They literally drive us downtown, which was like 20 minutes. Hi, Christopher Ramos, which is about 20 minutes from where school was. And they put us in like 2 holding cells. I was in one cell with Dago and that bunch. How I got in that one, I don't know. And then anybody else who might have gone out, they were in cell number 2. So let's say there was 2 cells. Cell number 1, cell number 2. Teddy Margas was in cell number 1 with all the bad kids. And so it was a real jail cell. It had like a stainless steel or aluminum toilet stuck to the wall. Dago took a piss. I thought, he's been here before. I would never in a million years pay your shit in front of any of these people. If I have to live here, I'm going to be in trouble. I'm going to be bloated. So we go and they take us out one by one. And we have to go speak to Patrick 720. How are you, honey? We have to go speak to the main cop who literally is putting our name into the database. Whatever. I don't even know the process. So one by one, we're taken in and it's my turn. Now, I don't know if any of you know this or not. My stage name is Teddy. My real name on my birth certificate is Theodosius. It means gift from God. Don't hate, congratulate. So, Carol, Theodosius is my full name. So we're waiting to go in, my turn to go in. The cop is sitting there at his desk and he says, what's your name? And I said, Theodosius, because they wanted your full name. What's your name on your birth certificate? I said, Theodosius. And he looked at me like, don't lie to me. I said, excuse me? I will have you know that was my father's name. I was named after a war hero, a Greek war hero who was killed by the Turks during the revolution in front of my father. And the guy is like, what is your name? I said, Theodosius. So he was like, spell it. So I spelled it and he's Thel. And so we were taken back to go back. I was finished, taken back. And I guess because of the way it worked out, they were ready to put me in cell 2 rather than cell 1. And I looked over and I said to the officer who was putting me, come through, Greek goddess. Yes, mother. Her name is Theodosius. That's where Theodoribus comes from. And I looked at the officer and I said, Steffi, how are you, honey? I looked at the officer and I said, oh, excuse me, just an FYI, because my brain is very anal, retentive, and analytical, and organized. I was in that cell before, not this cell. And the cop looks at me and goes, well, you're in this cell now, honey. This ain't the Holiday Inn. She shaded me. This cop clocked me in front of everybody, calling me honey. Hey, honey, this ain't the Holiday Inn. I said, listen, hey, rough trade, I don't stay at no damn Holiday Inn. Any hooch, at best what you got here is a Motel 6. Don't you dare tell me this ain't the Holiday Inn. Ooh, but she shaded me, girl. Anyhow, we were all done. We went back, and Theodosius in this sweatbox sounds like a great disco album. It does. We were sent back to class, but let me tell you something. I keep scratching my nose, I don't know why. I was a hero for the rest of my tenure in high school. Every tough kid was like, I had to get back and was brought back into class. It was English class, and I sat next to this girl, Nancy, who tortured me. I mean, tortured me. Now, Nancy was from the wrong side of the tracks. And she tortured me, made fun of my outfits, made fun of the way I talked, tortured me. But she heard through the grapevine, she heard that we were all arrested and taken down to the roundhouse, including Dago, her messiah. Dago was all these kids' messiah. And so Nancy looked at me and said, I heard you went downtown. And I was like, yeah, I was downtown, whatever, I survived it. And she goes, was Dago with you? I said, yeah, he was with me. Crying like a little mamby-pamby, but I talked him down. She goes, I heard you were resisting. I was like, I was resisting. I was a hero for the rest of my tenure. For what? Being a queen girl and opening up my mouth. Yes. Everybody say yes.